Welcome to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show on 99.7 and 1450 WHTC. It's your opportunity to learn more about your garden and your yard, about dealing with pests, and about taking care of the birds. You can be part of the show with your questions at 395-1450. That's 395-1450. And now, from DeBruyn Seeds on Washington Avenue in Zeeland, here's the Master Gardener, Jan Meeuwsen.
And good morning, everyone. What a lovely Saturday we have. It's beautiful to be outside this Saturday. So make sure you do something outside this weekend. Don't stay inside all day long. Do some garden chores or something around the house, or just sit out on the deck and just enjoy God's beautiful weather and his beautiful creation this weekend, because this is the weekend to do it. I am so excited to be here in West Michigan this weekend. Lovely, lovely weather. The phone lines are open. 616-395-1450, 616-395-1450. If you've got something you want to ask me about, that is just fine. I am going to remind you, we need pictures, your pet pictures, for the 2024 DeBruyn Pet Calendar. So even if you're not a customer of DeBruyn Seed, I'd love to have your dog or cat or whatever, their picture, and put it in the calendar. I love doing this. This is one of my fun things every year, and it is a moneymaker for island dogs down in Puerto Rico. They take care of the homeless animals, spay and neuter, both dogs and cats. So, it's a great cause. If you don't give me one of your pet's pictures, your first calendar is free, and the next one is just a small nominal donation to island dogs. I don't care how much you give me, or bring in some antibiotics or heartworm preventative, ear and nose, throat medications, fungal medications, dewormers, pain or inflammatory meds, nursing bottles, KMR, S-Black, bandaging supplies, bring something like that in, and you get a free calendar. And I should have the calendars ready right before Thanksgiving. That's my deadline for me to take all the pictures, put them in, and get it all arranged. So that's coming right up, but just bring it to the store, your pictures. I can scan them in with no problem, and I'll give you back the originals. That works. Or you can email your pictures to DeBruynSeed@gmail.com. That is DeBruyn as in Sam, EED @gmail.com. And I will take them. I'll make sure I email you back that I got the pictures. If I don't email you back, send a little email to remind me, hey, I sent pictures. Did you get them? So that will work. I'm always excited about the calendar. It's something fun that we do every year, and a lot of people like to have that calendar. So you get your pet in it this year. Okay, what's happening at DeBruyn's this week? We've had a bunch of phone calls about the beach woolly aphid. It looks like little tufts of cotton are stuck on your beech trees, and in the wind sometimes the little tufts, little kind of cottony things will kind of wave in the wind. What that is, it's a little insect underneath all of that little. It's a something that the aphids exude. It's kind of a stringy, waxy substance. It goes over top of them, and when they're disturbed, they raise their rear ends and they wave it in the wind. So sometimes it looks like they're dancing. So this is also called the dancing bug in the beech trees. The beech tree aphid only goes on beech trees, and what it does is it's little sucking the life out of the trees. It's never just one or two. It's usually thousands upon thousands of them before you finally hold it. That tree looks white there. What's going on? You can get it. It's probably not going to kill the tree in the first year, but once you get it, you tend to get it back again year after year. So it's best to use the The bio-advanced tree and shrub, that is just something that you mix with water and pour around the base of the tree. It gets up through the tree. I mean, it isn't going to take overnight to kill them, but it will kill them. You can spray insecticides, but I don't want you up on ladders trying to get a big beech tree sprayed, and that's hard enough to do. You can also put dormant oil over them when we have a dry day and it's not too hot. You can put the dormant oil on them if you can reach it, if it's a small tree. If you can reach it standing on the ground, yes, you can spray them. You might have to do it multiple times to get them. So the bio-advanced, if you've got patience, tree and shrub is the way to really get rid of them this year. And that looks like the dickens when you look at it. So it's not a fun little bug to get. Many callers on that this week. Many callers on that one this week. What else? Mosquitoes. Either you've got them or you don't have them. One or the other. There's no in between. Throwing citronella pellets on the ground is not going to do anything for the mosquitoes. So if you want to get rid of them, you're going to have to get rid of the water, any standing water. Use the BT, the mosquito dunks, in any water that you do have. Like if you've got a small lake or pond, you can put that in there. That is the number one thing. You can put the mosquito eliminator in a tree way away from where you sit, or you want to be outside, and it will take all the insects back that way. They work extremely well. Or you can spray. We have the mosquito beater that you can spray your backyard. Make sure you cover the bushes and any landscaped beds. They like to hide up there. That's where they are. They're usually not on the ground. So you need to spray the whole backyard. You can do that. That'll give you a couple weeks of relief, but do make, do take the mosquitoes seriously. Make sure your dogs are on heartworm preventative. It just takes one mosquito bite, and it's prevalent around here. When I was in school, it wasn't that big of a deal, but it is right now. When I practiced in Florida, of course, there was more mosquitoes there. And it was year-round. It was very important to keep your animal on heartworm medication. And now up here, we've got more mosquitoes that have it. So make sure that you keep your dog on heartworm medication, especially for animals that go to Florida. At least that's what we had when I worked down in Florida. The ones that brought their dogs to Florida during the winter and then went up north during the summer would take it with them. And then that's how we got it up here in Michigan. Otherwise, those mosquitoes never would have probably come up here. The mosquitoes never would have gotten infected. So, and they also need fleas as part of their whole life cycle. So again, make sure they're free of fleas and keep them on their heartworm medication. Fleas and ticks are a big item this year that everybody is coming in, trying to get rid of those. Again, you can spray your backyard. The bifenthrin works extremely well to spray your backyard for fleas and ticks, and will also take care of mosquitoes. So you might want to get out there and spray your backyard. Once it's dry, it is fine for your pets and your kids and you to be on it. It's not a problem. It actually goes into the plant material, and there it's broken down into 4 or 5 different components that it's made out of. So that works extremely well. It does not work on grubs. Bifenthrin is only going to work on insects that are above ground. If you have grubs, you can only take care of grubs, I guess, in the ground. There are 2 items that you can put on it. One is 7 that has the active ingredient carbaryl in it. And that is an old package of 7 or a bag of 7. The last year they have been putting cypermethrin in it, and that does not penetrate into the soil. So 7 with carbaryl as its active ingredient. If you still have some of that, that can actually be put on the ground for ground insects. And actually, you can also use that on the ground bees. That is probably the best thing to use for the bees. It is the most toxic for the bees that are in there. You just have to put it around the hole once, and they will carry it in and out and kill everybody. It's an extremely effective use of 7 with carbaryl. Now 7 with cypermethrin, it will work, but it's going to take longer. So you just have to be a little more patient. But if you want to get rid of grubs in the ground, it is Dilox is what you need. That's Dylox. That is what you need for grubs. You put it down and water it in well, or put it down right before it's going to rain. That works best. It needs to get in the ground. It photodegrades if you keep it above the ground without watering. So you need to get it in the ground. You got 3 days once it gets in the ground before it breaks down into its components. So get it down, water it in well. It does kill overnight for the grubs. So if you've got it watered in the ground well, it will kill those grubs. So, if you kill the grubs in the fall, then you don't see any in the spring. So that's the good part about it. You can kill those guys right now without a problem. They're near the surface eating, so that Dilox will work well. And you might have skunks in your yard digging up. You can tell it's skunks. They stand in your backyard. They put their head and their nose goes in the ground, and then they scurry around. They go around in a circle. And what the skunk is trying to smell for insects, it's got an exceptionally good nose, I guess. But it tears apart the lawn as it's going around. And then once there's insects right over there, then it digs it up. So you have a potential of not only having the little holes and scuff marks from their claws, you have the potential of them actually digging in the lawn, and they're exceptionally good diggers. So you might have a huge mess. So if you put the Dilox down and water it in well, it should kill the insects that are right near the surface that the skunks can get at. And then they might try, but they're not going to find anything, and then they'll go to the neighbors' lawns. That's our hope. I know there are some animal repellents that say they will get skunks. I really haven't found them to be effective. I don't know if the skunks just don't care, but they don't seem to be that effective. We need to stop and take a break, but we will be back with the Garden Show right after these messages.
Let's get back to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show. Call the Master Gardener from DeBruyn Seeds in Zeeland now at 395-1450. Once again, here's Jan Meeuwsen.
And we're back. The number is 616-395-1450, 616-395-1450. For anyone that's got any questions at all, I'll be glad to take them. I've been talking about what's kind of happening at DeBruyn's, what people are talking about there. I'm going to give you, there are some sales on at DeBruyn's that are really good right now. Milorganite is on sale through the 15th of this month, and it is $7.99 a bag. So that is a fantastic sale. So if you're looking for some fall fertilizer, Milorganite is a good one. And it's $7.99 for I can't remember what it is. I think it's a 32-pound bag right now. That's on sale. Jan's No Waste is on sale right now, $18.98. That's a fantastic deal also on that one. Might be a good one to stock up and save. The Fall Mums, the 14-inch, they are huge, folks. You don't think that 14 inches look big, but my goodness, the tops, they look like mushrooms. They're so big. You can tell, yeah, they're starting to break through, so you'll know the color of them. It's not a total surprise anymore. They should be in like peak in about 2-3 weeks, and they should be glorious with the amount of buds on them. So can put them there. Two for $27.98. They're big, they're beautiful, they're lovely. We also have the smaller mubs. I think they're around $6 each, and you can get the 14-inch. I think they're $15 each normally. So the 2 for $27.98 is a good deal. Also, the Dilox Grub Killer that I was talking about before, that is $19.98 for a 5,000 square foot coverage. So that's also a good deal. Coming next week, through the end of the month, but it's starting next Monday. Black oil sunflower, you heard it here first. $15.98 for a 40-pound bag. Now, it's not today. It is starting on Monday. So, and through the end of the month. So, fantastic deal there, folks. So, let's make sure we get out to DeBruyn's next week or before the end of the month and stock up for the winter, because I am absolutely shocked that Ken did that. Took me by surprise when he handed me the slip that said, hey, let's put this on sale right now. Oh, okay, that sounds good to me. So let's get out there next week and pick up some black oil sunflower. If you use it to feed the birds, you can pick it up and stock it up right now. Everybody, and I mean everybody, the big spiel is either you're putting in a lawn and you need grass seed, or you're just trying to do a few patches. Grass seed is a huge thing right now. And it should be, this is the perfect time of year to put in grass. We have plenty of moisture, and I see next week there is some moisture in the forecast. It is the fantastic time of year. The soil is nice and warm, and the soil will stay nice and warm through probably the end of October. I mean, our soil temperatures are still in the 70s, and it's kind of like Lake Michigan, where there are times when Lake Michigan can be warmer than the air in the fall. The soil is always warmer. So the soil is warm, there's more sunlight, it's cooler outside, the days are shorter, so we don't get as much evaporation. So this all points to fantastic time for grass seed. So if you need to put some grass seed in your lawn, this is the time to do it. If you're doing it on a area that it's a possibility that it might be covered in weeds once you start watering it, which is most bare ground. We do have the Scott's Turf Builder starter food for new grass. It's got a fertilizer to help feed your young little grass and your grass seed, and it also has a weed preventer in it, so you won't get weeds growing up for 6 weeks. That is a big step. I can't tell you, I've done grass seed before in the past, and if you don't keep on top of it and keep it watered, well, even if you do, the weeds are going to grow up quicker than the grass. And it's hard if you do a large area to sit there. You really shouldn't be walking over the new young grass, and you got to sit there and pull weeds so there's room for the grass seed to grow. It's not fun. But if you put down the starter fertilizer plus weed preventer, you don't have to do that. There's just no weeds. To me, it would be a no-brainer if I was putting in a lawn. I know it's more expensive than just plain starter fertilizer, but for 6 weeks of weed prevention, it's well worth it. Well worth it, folks. The lawns that I've seen that have been using that way far ahead of the other lawns that don't use that. So yes, I know it's more expensive, but it's kind of like building a house. If you don't have a good foundation, you don't have a good house. And weed and grass is the same way. If you don't have good dirt, good weed prevention, you don't have a good lawn. So that is like, a wonderful thing. And I know fall is the best time to kill weeds, but don't think you're going to put grass seed down and then put fall weed killer down later on, because that will kill your new grass. You won't be able to put weed killer down until next spring. So let's make sure that we put down the Scott's Turf Builder starter food for new grass plus weed prevention. Works well. And again, weed killer in the fall. Say 10-4 to weeds on 10-4. That's Michigan State's motto. So they're just saying that it's best to kill weeds in the fall, because you'll get the fall perennials will start coming up. You might see some dandelions here and there start coming up, but there's also a lot of other things like henbit and stuff like that that are coming up that you're not noticing. But if you put the fall lawn weed killer down, what it does is it kills them. You don't get the satisfaction of seeing them shrivel up and die, but you will get the satisfaction next spring of not having them there. So that's really, sometimes I don't need to see the instant kill, and that's one time. I do like to see if I spray something for it to be dead right away. But this way you'll have, the winter it will work, and you just won't see it in the spring. So that's the fun thing about that. Works well. You can do it. A talk about amaryllis. This is the time of year to bring in your amaryllis plants. It's September. They need to come in. Make sure you debug them, that they have nothing, no bugs on the leaves or anything. Usually they aren't. A big one that has bugs on it, but make sure you don't bring anything in with it. Then you're going to just take it and you're going to put it in a cool, dark location and put it on its side. And that forces the plant to go dormant. Now, we're not going to water it. We're not going to do anything. You might want to go down and check to see if the leaves are turning brown or yellow. And if they do, just cut them off. And then in mid-October or whatever, mid-October to the end of October will be the time to put it right side up again. Bring it upstairs if you put it down in the furnace room like I do, because it's cooler, drier down there and dark. And put it in a warmer room that just gets ordinary light. I don't want direct sunlight getting on it. I don't want just an ordinary light, and then start watering it. Sometimes it works best if you put it on top of a register or a heat mat and get some warmth from below, and it will start to grow. And if you do it mid to end October, then you'll have an amaryllis for Christmas. It's very easy. This is one plant that really you can't really go too far wrong with. You put it in a dark, cool room and put it on its side for a couple of months. It's not hard to do. And then you can enjoy it all the Christmas season. It should be up and blossoming by then. I have had ones that have blossomed at Easter time that have taken a long time, but they'll come up and blossom for you. It's a fun plant to take care of. But remember, bring it inside, turn it on its side, cool, dark room. Don't water it. And I'll remind you mid to late October when to put it upright, bring it upstairs, and start watering it again. So that's as hard as that gets. Don't be, stressing over an amaryllis. It's an easy one. The poinsettias, if you over-summered your poinsettia, that one's a lot harder, and I'll talk about when it's time to bring those in. And then you got to have the total dark, cooler, and then the warmer light periods, and you got to keep doing that and be very consistent with it. You don't miss a night here or there. It's a very consistent thing. It's a lot harder to do, but we'll talk about that later when it's time for that. Time for food plots. If you want to get something in the ground to feed your deer, to get your deer into an area so you can get them during hunting season. This is the time. People are still trying to do it. It seems like the must-have seed this year is the forage radishes. They're not to eat for you, and I don't even think the deer eat them. They like the tops, but they will paw around in the ground for them. But these radishes grow big. These are not the little tiny red radishes you get in the store. These are white, and these are big, and they help loosen up clay soil. So a lot of guys that have hard clay soil, they put in the forage radishes. It does help, and then plow them under, and the deer will eat the greens, and you'll have something, a benefit from the radishes also. If you don't need your ground broken up, we've got cereal rye and oats and wheat and all the clovers, pasture mixes, chicory, trefoil. I think we got some vetch in also. We've got all that stuff, sun hemp, Egyptian wheat, a lot of that stuff that you can plant right now. Get it in the ground and get it going. And, fall time is the time to plant. We need to stop and take a break right now, but we will be back with the Garden Hour after these messages and after the news.
Let's get back to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show. Call the Master Gardener from DeBruyn Seeds in Zeeland now at 395-1450. Once again, here's Jan Meeuwsen.
And we are back to the Garden Show. I got that right. I said it wrong before break, and I have been told during the break, reminded again and again, it is a garden show on Saturday. So I will not hopefully make that mistake again because someone here is correcting me. Okay. And I won't say it's that person on the other side, the engineer. No, couldn't be him. Okay, so what we need to talk about. Well, the phone lines are open, 616-395-1450, 616-395-1450. There are no murder hornets in Michigan. Just saying that because we keep having people bring in these hornets that they're finding in their backyards. And they're sometimes big, but they're all just the bald-faced European wasp. They're nothing as big as the murder hornets. And they had them out in Washington, and they'd not seen them this summer, so they think they might have gotten rid of them. But so just reiterating, there are no murder hornets in Michigan. So don't worry about that. But do be careful around the wasps, and especially around the hornets. This time of year, they are congregating together in their nests, making their nests bigger, making their brood bigger. This is not the time that you need to be, bothering them at all because they will sting you. They have no qualms about that whatsoever.
Is there ever a time to be bothering the hornets or the
No,
wasps?
there is never a good time to do that, but fall is definitely not the good time. If you do have hornets, around where you're trying to be in the fall, you know what? There you can spray some wasp and hornet spray, but really it's probably best just to kind of leave them alone until after the first freeze. Then they live somewhere up in a tree, and they're in those great big gray, look like balloon type things. And there are, millions of them, it seems like, coming in and out all the time. Don't be the one that goes up on the ladder with a couple of cans of wasp and hornet spray thinking you're going to get rid of these guys, because there is more than one entrance. You think, they're all just going in and out the bottom. Wrong. Out of the top too, out of the sides. They can go in and out almost everywhere. And believe me, they will be on you quicker than you can get down the ladder and start running somewhere. Just not a good idea. If you need to get rid of the wasp or hornet nests and they're big, you'll have to get a professional in to do that. Step ladders and wasp and bee spray are not a good combination. And we have someone on the line. Good morning. You are on the Garden Show. Okay, good morning. Hello. Oh, you can give us a call back, 616-395-1450, 395-1450. Sorry, I didn't catch that quite quick enough. 616-395-1450 is the number to call. If you do have a small little paper wasp nest like on the eave or on your deck or whatever, you can spray those. Best to spray them early morning or in the evening when they aren't coming in and out as much. You can get rid of those, but if you see a big one up in like an eave way up or in a tree, please, 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 I don't want you to think you can do that. I know the guys at DeBruyn's would probably think, well, they've always got some way to MacGyver something. Let's not do that with these guys. If you suddenly realize you're allergic to bee stings, this could kill you. It's nothing to play around with at any point in time. Or if you have someone in your house that's, allergic to bees, it is not something to play with. Just saying. I mean, you can play around with all the other ones, but just don't bother them. It's a good thought. If you want to keep the insects out of your house during the winter, this is a good time of year to walk around your house and spray from your house out about 4 feet, and then go up on the foundation and kind of under the siding to keep them from coming in. Go around the doors and the windows. I use the Home Defense Outdoor for that. It works extremely well. It comes in a ready to use, or you can mix it in your tank sprayer or your hose end sprayer, whatever. It does work extremely well. So you don't get those ants or the box elder bugs or any of those wonderful things, the stink bugs, the ladybugs, all those things that like to come into our house during the winter and overwinter with us. I don't want them. So I do spray with Home Defense, and I really don't have a problem with them. So again, from the foundation out about 4 feet, and then up the foundation, under the siding, and then around doors and windows, and any the dryer vent or anything like that goes into the house. Do spray all that well, and you shouldn't have a problem. It lasts a good 4 months at least. I saw one commercial where it said it lasted a year. I don't think I would trust it for a year. I do it like in the fall and then in the spring again. And I don't have a problem with insects in my house, and it really works well. And Home Defense also came out with an indoor, although you can use the Home Defense indoors. It does have an odor to it. And, once it's dry, it's fine. You don't smell it anymore. But it does have a new one just for indoors. And it also comes in a cool, I think it's a quart, maybe even bigger than that. And it's got a little battery on it, and all you have to do is just touch the sprayer, and it sprays. So you can do like a continuous spray, like under your baseboards or whatever. And you don't have to be sitting there pulling on a trigger all the time. Wow. As I get older and my hands get more arthritic, I hate those trigger things. Those battery-powered things are wonderful, and they last. I've had one for over a year, and I keep it in the garage so it does get colder there during the winter, and they still work this year, so I haven't had any problem with them. I haven't put new batteries in them or anything like that. They just go on and on, although the batteries nowadays seem to last longer anyway. But those work fine. We need to stop and take a break here. It's our last break. And we'll regroup here after these.
Let's get back to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show. Call the Master Gardener from DeBruyn Seeds in Zeeland now at 395-1450. Once again, here's Jan Meeuwsen.
We're back. I have a lot of people ask me about their hummingbird feeders. If your hummingbird feeders are inundated with wasps, they're just trying to get the sweet liquid, it's probably best just to take those down for the year right now. If you don't have a problem, do keep them up through the end of September. There's hummingbirds that are still coming through. I see some every once in a while by my feeders. So they're still coming through. keep them up till the end of August at least, to catch those migrating little birds. I love watching those guys. I always hate seeing them go in the fall, but they do have to go to warmer climates, and I understand. But yeah, keep those feeders up through the end of September. Your bird feeders. There are weeks when my bird feeders are really, really busy, and then I have weeks where, not so busy. It's been quite pleasant this week. They've been there, but not as like when it's really hot, they're there, or when it's going to start cooling down now. They'll probably be at my feeder a little bit more. But keep the feeders full. There's still birds, other than the hummingbirds that are flying through, migrating down. They'll be migrating for the next, through October. So, if you just want to keep them up through that time, that's the time you see a lot of them. They migrate at night. They fly at night and they rest during the day. And if it's raining, they don't fly at night. So then they'll stay in the area for another day. So you have a chance of seeing some of the birds we don't see normally, like the tanagers and cedar. Well, don't we see the cedar waxwings, but the scarlet tanagers, the indigo buntings, they're coming through, headed back down. So if they don't normally eat at our bird feeders, but if you put some mealworms out, there's a good chance that they would do that. They're mainly insect eaters. Keep the bird bath full for them to take a bath or to even just get a drink. When they're migrating, they do need water. So it's a good chance you'll see them at your bird bath. So keep those bird baths filled and cleaned, and you should be fine. And my final words, and this is going to be my shtick now. Bob Barker died, so I am going to be the voice that's going to remind you to spay and neuter your puppies and kittens that you have. Please, please, please don't send them out in the world if they have not been vaccinated and if they have not been spayed and neutered. Really, we have enough dogs and cats, and I know you might have one that has a really nice temperament. Believe me, there are thousands of them in shelters that have really nice temperaments too. So, pick a shelter dog and make sure your animals are spayed and neutered. Parvo, fall, we think of parvovirus. If you want to take your dog to the animal park, which is fun to do, and they play with other dogs, we don't want them associating with dogs that have parvo unless your dog is up to date on parvo vaccinations. Very, very important. I have seen too many dogs with parvo in my life. Down in Florida, it was a horrible disease. It's not any worse of a disease up here. If your dog gets it, there's a 50-50 chance it will die even with medical help. It is a horrible disease. The dogs start throwing up. They have diarrhea, and what that is just the cells of their intestines are breaking down, and that's what they're throwing up. It's really hard to keep them going. So make sure your dogs are vaccinated for parvo. Very important. And I know when you have puppies, you have a litter of puppies, and I know they get some immunity from their mother's milk. They don't get enough of parvo. So you do need to vaccinate your puppies for parvo. It's a horrible way for them to die. And if you had to watch that time after time, as like I had to, you don't want that to happen to your dogs. So I can't say enough. Make sure you have your dogs get a vaccination for parvo. When you go to the veterinarians up here, it's one of those optional things, but it is up here. Now we bring our dogs down south to get it, come back up here, and it does. The virus goes up and down, so we do have it. So, and it stays in the soil for years. So it's not like it's going to just disappear. So it just takes one dog to have it at the dog park for them all to get it, especially if they're a puppy. Very, very susceptible to things like that. That is my big thing. right now. And hey, if you want to donate to Island Dogs, I'm more than happy to have it. Just drop it off at DeBruyn Seed Store. Tell the guys, that you give it to. Hey, it's for Jan for Island Dogs. They'll know exactly where to go with it. They're used to that. They all support it at DeBruyn. So I'm always happy to do it. I'm always happy to pack up boxes and send them down. It is so much fun for me to do that, and then to get their reaction when they get what we send them. They are so over the moon with what we send them. And I know some of you give me checks or whatever to send down there. I love to do that too. They're always in need of stuff, and I guess Hurricane Lee is going to brush by Puerto Rico. They'll be affected again. And that's a big storm that I saw, Category 5. So we're just praying for them down in Puerto Rico right now. And for all the people there, really aren't hurricane proof there by any way or mean. And we just pray that Hurricane Lee just stays offshore and doesn't hit, because it's a big storm. We don't want that to come anywhere near us at all. You people up here don't realize how nice it is not to have to live through one of those hurricanes. It is not a pleasant thing. When I lived in Florida, the veterinarians had to take turns of staying in the clinic because we would board dogs and cats with owners that left their houses, and one vet had to be on the premises, and so we drew straws, and there were times I got the bad straw, so I had to take care of it. Not that it was fun, but boy, that is a strange thing to be in the middle with, especially in the kennel. There really weren't any windows, so you couldn't really see out. So it was kind of an interesting time when you had to sleep in your office and take care of the animals. Okay, well, I have to remind you that I will be back here next Tuesday morning at 8:35 with Dan for the garden party. And then I will be back on Tuesday, just a little while later, at 10 a.m. until 11 on Talk of the Town. Again, this week with Dan. I think I have Dan both times. I will not be here next Saturday. It will be a Best of Jan show because Jan will be at a convention in the sunny South, praying that there's no hurricanes coming. And I will see you the next week after that on Saturday morning at 11:05. But Adam's already kind of figured out the best of for Jan for next week, so we're all set. So I will see you on Saturday morning at 11:05. And, until then, all I can say is go green.
You've been listening to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show on 99.7, 1450 WHTC and WHTC.com. If you wish to hear this or other programs hosted by the Master Gardener from DeBruyn Seeds in Zeeland, check out the podcast section of our website, WHTC.com, and listen or download for free. The Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show is a presentation of 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.